guys, Grand Training Systems, welcome back. New camera, new look, new intro. Let me know what you think about it. We also have beautiful Sedef with us. She will be joining us for many of the videos. She is starting her yoga practice, so we'll have more information about her Facebook page, Instagram, and everything here soon. However, today we're going to go through some very important exercises for the wrist. We're going to focus more on the wrist, let's say joint, if you will, than the actual muscles here. So I think we're all familiar with the exercises where we're moving something like this with some dumbbells. Those are very important, but today we're going to tackle a different beast. We're going to go over how to strengthen the ligaments, if you will, and also intrinsic muscles within the wrist. So we have less wrist pain versus just stronger muscles here. So we start, most people have something like this in their gym or something like this at their house. In this case, this one is a little bit too light, good for the example of the video, but you can also just go to your local store and buy a little bit of a heavier hammer. Usually we have 5 or 6 different ones, so we can increase the intensity or for the different people that we have. So, Sedef, moving right into the exercise here. First thing we're going to have you do is we're going to have you in a very comfortable position. This is not a fitness exercise, so I don't need to contract the abs and stabilize the arm. I can stay in a very comfortable position, and we're going to bring her through the reverse hammer motion. So what that means is I don't need her hammering the air. I want her going very slow through the same motion, keeping a neutral position in the wrist. So I don't want to see the wrist break, and I don't want to see it break here. So we're just going to go through a nice, slow, concentric and eccentric contraction, so lengthening and shortening of the wrist here. So, see that? Go ahead and give that a shot. So what we have her here in a very nice, comfortable position. Thumb is around the hammer as if she would be really using it. And then go ahead and just slowly start keeping yourself in that neutral position, coming up and down with the hammer. So you can see she likes to try to turn that wrist out a little bit, so we really want that neutral position. Get out just like that, perfect. Yeah, there we go. And we're just gonna bring her slowly through 15 to 20 of these. Now this hammer is probably a bit too light. We know the strength of the hammer is correct when it doesn't hurt the wrist, but it's also not possible to do like 1,000 of them, yeah? Then it's a little bit too light. So what we're focusing on here is as she's going through these, she's not going to feel much of the burn here as she would with the other exercises. What she's going to notice here is her wrist is going to start to get tired. And the reason we notice this, or we feel this, or the reason it happens, is because these small little muscles inside that are connecting all of these small little carpal bones, as we call them, sometimes become very weak with everything we're doing during the day, and this exercise focuses directly on really the movement of those bones, which in return makes those muscles start to work. So we want to make sure also as she goes down, she doesn't overextend. We only go through that neutral position, just right in here. So it's always a very stable position. So again, we would bring her through a set of, let's say, 2 sets of 20. Again, this is a bit light. But then the next one we would bring her into would be this supination pronation position. So I'll take the hammer quickly from her. We can remember that the supination is because we have a bowl of soup in our hand, and pronation would be the soup is no longer in our hand. So what we're going to do here again, remember it's not a fitness exercise, so it's okay to be in a comfortable position. And from here, I'm going to start in a neutral position of my wrist. So you can notice that because the hammer is basically in a straight line. And I'm going to come over into the supination neutral position. So from supination to pronation, supination to pronation, we just continue. And each direction counts as 1. So when I start from here, I come over, and I go back, it goes to 1. Now, Sedef, go ahead and try that, and we're going to point out some of the common mistakes we see in this one. So we can get her straight, there we go. Starting in that neutral position, we want to make sure she's not starting from here. Neutral position, so it's 0 degrees, and then go ahead and turn over. And as she turns over, we want to make sure she doesn't cheat out of those corners where the weakness is. So we really want to make sure the athlete or the person keeps that wrist in a neutral position, and they really go along that rainbow line, if you will. Yeah, we don't want them breaking out like that, because that's where we're finding a weakness in that wrist. So here we are going to go, making sure she goes all the way over to that neutral position and stays in line, there we go, better, with that rainbow. Now you can notice as she starts to turn back over here, it starts to get a little bit weak. You can see the wrist shake a little bit, and you can see that it becomes a little bit difficult. So as we said before, she's doing a very high amount of yoga at a very high level. So in my guess is this is not weak, this is just quite tired for her. However, when things start getting tired, we need to be quite careful that we are still able to hold a good motion, because when we start moving with motion that is not clean, this is where the injuries start to come. So as we can see, I think we have definitely found a weakness within her wrist that would be quite important for her to work on because of many of the positions in her yoga. And how does that feel? A bit difficult, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can go ahead and relax. And also remember, there's no golden rule that she has to use one hammer for everything. So if this one is a bit easy, then she can use a heavier hammer. However, if this one hurts, she can go to the lightest hammer she can find, or she can even grab something even more simple, where there is no weight at the end, and use something like this. All right, guys, third exercise, ulnar deviation. We're going to need the heaviest hammer for this one because usually it's the easiest exercise. What we're going to do is we're going to be in a standing position, and from here, my hand is next to my side, and I'm going to move the hammer to my elbow. So just a very simple motion where I'm bending at the wrist, breaking at the wrist if you will, towards my elbow in an ulnar deviated position is what we say, from here. And I'm going to go again through about 2 sets of 20. If the hammer is bigger and you still really don't feel much of an exercise, that's okay. What we're going to notice is in the other exercises, the wrist muscles are working quite a bit. Here we're going to have an assistance from a much larger group of muscles. So this is also an important exercise because it will take you through a very important motion, because we're going to be going through the radial deviation, the supination, pronation, and now the ulnar deviation. 3 very important movements in the wrist that are often forgotten about. So guys, again, thanks. YouTube page, Facebook page, Instagram page, Grant Training Systems, website gtsgermany.com. Beautiful stuff. Thank you again. And if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them on the wall. Make sure to sign up for the newsletter, and until next week, peace.